United Nations gearing up for another attack on Israel before Barack Obama leaves office. Touro Institute professor Anne Bayevsky, also the president of Human Rights Voices and a UN expert who follows these issues closely, joins the show in studio. So, Anne, just start with the big picture here. What exactly is the UN planning to do?
Well, the situation is that the President of the United States has gone rogue. And essentially, he is upending the transition of power and has decided to arrange with the French to have a meeting 5 days before he leaves office, an international mob of 70 countries that will attempt to impose some kind of deal creating a Palestinian terror state on Israel.
And if that happens, what implication does that have for peace in the Middle East? Why would that be such a big event?
Well, it's a catastrophe because it licenses terror, because it takes away the possibility of negotiations. The Palestinians will never negotiate again as long as they can do what they want out of the United Nations Security Council or some kind of international gang in Paris.
So is there anything that can be done in Congress, or can President Obama and his allies here, like the French, just go ahead and do this unilaterally?
No, the point now is that the president-elect really has to weigh in, and as does Congress in a far greater way than they have so far. Instead of, whining about with legislation or bills that have no teeth, they have the power of the person in respect to the United Nations, and they have to use it. As for the president-elect, how dare Theresa May come cap in hand and the rest of the EU expecting favors from the next administration on their post-Brexit problems. When they're going to Paris, there are things he can specifically ask for. Why should they be dealing with the president who's 5 days away from, leaving office, instead of the guy who's going to actually make things happen?
Well, look, that's a good question. That's a reference, of course, to the British Prime Minister who came over and signed on to the last attack on Israel. But Donald Trump, he said, "Don't worry, Israel. When I come into office on January 20th, everything is going to change." Couldn't he just renounce or denounce that sort of move at the United Nations? Or is it just done forever if Obama goes ahead and does this?
What Obama has done so far can't be easily rescinded through the Security Council. He's already had that resolution which will license terrorists, BDS, the Boycott, Divestment Program, an international legal effort to use courts to stymie Israel in all kinds of other ways. And the French initiative promises to do it again. They're looking to go either to the Security Council for a resolution or what they call a presidential statement that will tie the hands of the next president. That's why the president-elect has to do something somehow signal to those international players that it's not going to be cost-free, especially the United Nations.
And there would be consequences if that does indeed happen. We're going to follow it closely. Anne Bayevsky with the news here before you hear it anywhere else. Thanks very much.
You're welcome.